Hey, Shalom Markins, Vakar Makapash from James London, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shai, B'Shem Chachodash. Want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the whole full elect, pushing his truth and all sincerity. Back again with another video, and I was reading this article here, which is from the Telegraph, saying British jets to carry nuclear warheads, right? And as I was reading this article, I come to a point in the article, it's kind of stood out to me, which reminded me of scripture speaking about they should give their power to the beast, which is found in Revelation 17 and 13. And it says that these have one mind and should give their power and strength unto the beast. Right? The beast is NATO in the EU. Right? And in this article, we're speaking about Britain's part in that, Britain's role, right? Because of the supposed threat of Russia. Okay, these European nations are putting more money into the military and building up their armories. Okay, buying, building more nuclear warheads and all that kind of stuff to deter Russia, right? And America, through Trump, has been getting on NATO for these nations in NATO, these European nations, for not pulling their weight, right, in terms of their military spending. All right, but Europe is all kind of recognizing that Russia is some type of threat, and so they need to spend more money, right? Because they can't rely on America to defend them, because Trump is saying, I ain't fucking doing that anymore. All right, but so these nations have been putting more money into their arsenals, right? And this is just an article that's covering this, but it mentioned something interesting. So I thought I'd just focus on that point. I might read some of this article, but I want to skip down to the point. But yeah, British jets to carry nuclear warheads. Return to Cold War era as new defense strategies warns we must prepare for threat to the UK. All right, so they're buying new planes, and they can hold nuclear warheads and all these kinds of business, right? It says the British jets are to carry nuclear warheads for the first time since the Cold War era, after a deal with the US. That's all that deal that they were doing at the G7 with Starmer and Trump. That's the type of deals that were being done, right? Ones of warfare, because America exports war, right? The great military and industrial complex, right? So these are the deals that were being done. So they accepted to buy these American planes, right? Because I believe Britain make their own planes, right? But maybe not so much these days. But they're just gonna go buy American, right? Because Trump told them to. All right. At a NATO summit in The Hague on Wednesday, the Prime Minister will announce that Britain will buy 12 F-35A fighter planes. Unlike the F-35B jets that the UK currently possesses, they can carry nuclear weapons. Right, this is Sir Keir Starmer, who's the Prime Minister of the UK, said, in an era of radical uncertainty, we can no longer take peace for granted, which is why the government is investing in our national security, ensuring our armed forces have equipment they need, and communities up and down the country reap from the benefits from our defence dividend. The agreement marks the first time since the retirement of the Tornado in 1998 that the UK will have a plane capable of dropping tactical nuclear weapons on the enemy. All right, so they're gonna, try and get their air supremacy back up, okay, with nuclear warheads to frighten Russia. But yeah, so let me, this goes through the different planes and stuff like that, and differences or whatever. But he says NATO's 32 leaders, okay, which it never started, it didn't start off as that many, but they've grown in size, right? Leader are to meet on Wednesday to confirm a new 5% target, because I believe the target was like 2% before, or 2 point something. So it's like doubled, right? So that means more taxpayers' money is going to be disappearing, which is going to make more you people poorer, right? It's going to make your NHS services shitter, your health services is rubbish, right? Because money's got to come from somewhere, right? And it ain't coming from fucking productivity. because the economy is shit. All right, so it's going to come from taxes and these types of things here. Your standard of living is going to be decreased even more. All in aiming to fight some orchestrated mythical war. This is to confirm a new 5% target for spending on defense and associated infrastructure. All right, so let me jump down to the point I wanted to get to. All right, we're towards the bottom here. All right, it says here, right, this part. It is understood that Mr. Healey and Sir Keir were keen to get the deal over the line in time for the Hague summit to show that the government's strategy is NATO first. All right, not Britain first, which is what these politicians are in power for, to do, to serve the people of Britain. Saying like, what was his name? Tucker Carlson was interviewing, is it Rubio? Is it Rubio he was interviewing? What state does he preside over? Is California? Or New York? I don't know. One of those states, right? One of these guys that Tucker Carlson was interviewing recently, right? He was talking about the reason why he got into office was, to support Israel, whatever, whatever, what he was saying, right? These people were not meant to be empowered to be supporting other people and other nations, right? They're here to support the people, their constituents, right? And because Tucker Carlson was kind of prodding him, and he was buckling under pressure and spelling all kinds of craziness, things that he didn't need to be saying, right? But it just shows that the Israeli have a prominent part in American politics and power in American politics, and so these men are elected and put in power because of those alliances with them, right? But they're meant to be about the people, their own country's people. Same with here, Britain's meant to be about British first, not the Ukrainians. Fuck all them, like not all these other things that are going on in the planet. They're meant to be about their own people, because their own people are suffering. Same with people in America, their own people are suffering, and yet we're giving aid and we're doing this and that for this country and that country, and your own people are suffering. But like I said, this is a new world order being developed, and it's a global thing that these men want to achieve, right? So So it says to show that the government strategy is NATO first, right? That's what they're saying. All right, Mr. Rutt said the UK has declared its nuclear deterrent to NATO, right, for many decades, right? So that's the alliance, right? And they've declared their power, right, to the beast, which is NATO. And I strongly welcome today's announcement that the UK will now also join NATO's nuclear mission and procure the F-35A. So it's a NATO mission, but if it was America that wanted you to buy the plane. All right. So this is another robust British contribution to NATO, right? They're giving power to the beast, right? The same way they all put this money into NATO, right, to play this role, okay? Mr. Healey said the SDR confirmed we face new nuclear risks, with other states increasing, modernizing and diversifying their nuclear arsenals, and it recommended a new UK role in our collective defense and deterrence through a NATO-first approach. Okay? So, if we go back here, Revelation 17, right? I'm going to read from... where we're going to start from. All right, let me start from verse 9. All right, it says Revelation 17, verse 9. Here's the mind which have wisdom. 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth, the woman being America, who is the spearhead of NATO, right? And there are 7 kings, 5 have fallen, and one is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must control a short space, right? This one that cometh and must continue a short space was Britain, right? And the 5 that have fallen were is it Rome or Italy, right? Spain, France, Germanium Major, Germanium Minor, right? If I remember correctly, okay. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th. 8th is America, right? And is of the 7, because America came out of Britain, right? Who was the 7th head, and go into perdition, right? Because that is the ultimate judgment of America. It's going to be completely, utterly destroyed, right? The 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. Right? These nations, let me bring up my notes. I made these notes like years ago, right? But I was doing a little bit more research on it today, right? But added a couple things to it. But let me get here, right? So these 7 heads is Rome, Greece, Britain, Germania Major, Germania Minor, Spain and France, right? The 8th being America, which I just said. The 10 horns, right, represents the EU and what was the EEC, okay, which is now the European Union, or was the foundation of the European Union, right? It's grown in scale since then, right? But it started off with France, Belgium, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Italy, and West Germany. Okay, these were the 6 nations that originally started it up, but soon afterwards, added Denmark, Greece, Britain, and Spain. Okay, which along with Britain came Ireland, and along with Spain came Portugal, right? Which make up these 10 horns. Okay. Like I said, this was originally the EEC, but now is the EU. That's why we say NATO and the EU, because the EU nations make up a part of NATO, right? And obviously you got America spearheading the movement, playing the major, playing the financial role, playing daddy, as they were saying, right? Playing daddy in that group. All right. Oh, that's not where I was. All right. So, right, and it says, so again, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour of the beast, right? That's these nations we just went through. These have one mind, right? The NATO, that thing, right? That they will come in together, right? And shall give their power and strength unto the beast, okay? And we're reading some, like, the military aspect of this, that the UK was part of NATO, Britain, right? And Ireland, right, is giving its military assets for use of NATO. So this NATO first approach, they gave one mind, right, to develop their armories, right, to supposedly deter against the threat of, well, mainly because of Russia, right? That's their reasoning, because Russia's supposedly acting all kind of crazy, right? They're gonna do craziness, whatever, right? But that's the excuse they're using to spend all this, more money into the thing, right? But like it said here, it says, oh, it's on the, where is it? What's wrong with my eyes? I can't see it. Okay. Yeah, where it says here, Mr. Rutt said the UK has declared its nuclear deterrent to NATO for many decades, right? And so they're increasing that. But I said they're giving their power over to NATO. Okay, i.e. the beast. right? And these should make war with the Lamb, right? So what are they gonna do with these weapons? Go to war, make war, right? Who are they gonna end up fighting? The Lord when He returns with the angels, right? Not only is there gonna be a World War III going on, which they're gonna be involved in, but they're gonna have to also contend with the Lord when He turns up. Right, so these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. Right, because that goes without saying. For He is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with Him are called and chosen and faithful, which is the elect of Israel. Right, and He saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, America, where they sitteth, are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. Because like I said, America was the power right now over these other nations, including NATO. These European nations in NATO. So they have to kind of, dance to the tune of America, right? But, that's going to get old real soon, right? As these European nations are getting increasingly frustrated with having to deal with America and having to deal with Trump, all right? And it says, in the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, okay, your Britons, your Italy and France, Spain, and, all the 10 horns, right? That we mentioned earlier, right? They says these shall hate the whore. They shall hate America, who is supposed to be their leader. Right? He's supposed to be their spearhead. Like they need America to be competent, to be powerful, so to speak. To fend off a threat like Russia. They need an America. And that's why they're being forced to make these deals and buy their planes and all this stuff, right? Because, otherwise, like Trump was saying, man, he won't be looking to defend these European nations, man. As far as he's concerned, they're not getting a fair deal out of the European nations. So he's just like, well, I ain't gonna come and defend you then. But like, oh no, but Russia's they're tearing up shit right now. You need protection. So you're paying America protection money. But yes, in the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her with fire, eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill His will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast. Right? These things, these nations are not really operating independently anymore. It's about the group. It's about the bloc. NATO and the EU. Right? Just like the States of America, they don't really operate independently, even though they're supposed to have certain abilities in that. But American military is the American military. The States don't have their own militaries like that. I'm pretty sure they don't. Right? So it's the bloc. It's the United States of America. It's the bloc. Right? So the same over here. The European Union is meant to be the United States of Europe. That's what it was kind of set up for. Right? So they could depend on one, support one another. All right. So it says, so yeah, so it's all about the NATO first objectives, the EU first, and it says, and shall make her desolate and naked, shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill His will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Okay, which again is America. All right. So I just find that interesting when I read that, because again it's fulfillment of prophecy that they would do these things. All right. And so we're just seeing it in manifest in black and white, in front of the world to see. Okay. As Revelation chapter 6 verse 4 said, and they went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. Right, these great swords, or this great sword is the nuclear, the thermonuclear bomb, man. Right, which these Edomites have in their possession. Right, which they brought into the world. Okay, and like I said, they're gearing up for more war. Right, they're gearing up for more war. Okay, these Edomites are meant to be supposedly, right, peacekeepers and bring about peace and that kind of stuff. But all they've really done is make war. Right, these men are not civilized. These Edomites look down at all these other nations because they got like infighting or whatever the case may be, you know. But Esau is he's taken war to a global scale, onto a scale that is unfathomable, because these weapons that he has in his possession just do far too much damage, you know. And literally, people that have got these nukes are just threatening one another with complete destruction. It's crazy. With a press of a button, you know. That's the world that Esau's has brought about, through his technology and his lust for war, right? But he is that red horse that's taking peace from the earth, right? And they should kill one another. And that's exactly what they plan on doing. All right. His Revelation, actually, that's what I read, didn't it? Okay, that's cool. I read it. All right. So I'm going to close out with this. Obadiah 1 and 7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy, right? All these alliances that, that Esau has made together, right? Have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, right? So albeit you be shaking hands and accepting deals, even though they're shit deals or whatever, you smiling in people's faces and talk about how our relationship is strong as ever. That's all BS. That's all BS, right? It says, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee, right? They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him, right? So you're not going to change, the outcome of what they're going to do, because the Most High's will is what's going to be done. And the Most High have put it in their spirits to turn on you. Okay, so when that time comes, they will turn on you, right? They're going to give their power unto the beast, and the beast is going to do its thing, right? Because, along with Russia and all these other nations that got nukes, they're going to shoot their missiles at you, right? And then the beast is also going to be put down for good when the Lord turns up. But they're gonna destroy America, man. The beast and these other nations. All right. But yeah, I'm gonna end it there. Lord willing, this has been edifying, and I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video. Till next time, I say shalom.